Surprise! Everything looks perfect. The sun is shining, all my friends are here, there's a beautiful birthday cake.
And to top it off, we all chipped in and purchased you this brand new scooter.
A scooter! Oh, you shouldn't have. You guys are the greatest. See, Eugene? I told you this was going to be a perfect party.
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society.
Oh, joy!
Let's rock.
It makes me wanna fart!
Dear Journal, it's me, Doug.
You have it!
Dig it.
Baby's gotta do what a baby's gotta do.
That was a hoot!
On your mark. Get set.
Oh, here it goes!
Welcome to Splat Attack, where we're taking it back to the slime-filled past. I'm your gackerific co-host, Brett.
And I am your slime-tastic co-host, Alex. Happy birthday, Brett!
Why, thank you very much, Alex. I appreciate that.
So we gotta have some party goers. We got somebody coming with us today?
Yeah, believe it or not, I was setting up for my birthday party, and I happened to run into my sister, Chelsea, so she's helping us throw a birthday party to celebrate Nickelodeon style today. So thank you for joining us on the podcast, Chelsea.
Hey guys. Happy birthday month. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Yeah, we're happy to have you here too, because I know you and I share a lot of early 90s Nickelodeon memories together and also birthday party memories. So, before we dive into our top 5 birthday episodes today, which is actually a new format we're doing, we never did like a formal top 5 before. I like to just go around the table and share some memories that we have about some of our favorite birthday parties growing up.
Well, I have 2 pretty big birthday memories. One is mine, and one is for my son.
Okay.
Since Sam is an honorary Splat Attack member with his Sam Reacts, last year he turned 7, and he, as you are well aware, since this is for Patreon, that I'm a huge James Bond fan, because we had that James Bond episode, and Sam also became a massive James Bond fan because I was watching them, so he had to watch all of them, and he didn't turn 7. He turned 007 years old, and his birthday was a 007 themed birthday party. And I got foam boards and I drew pictures of the James Bond villains, and I gave him a new Nerf gun that shoots one of those balls.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
He got his own little tuxedo, and he spent the night with his grandmother, so I could set the whole house up. And there was a giant 007 helium balloons, and I had a 007 gun barrel backdrop. And when he came home, those figures were all over the house. And he walked in his tuxedo, and I came outside with the gun and said, "There are James Bond villains inside. You must shoot them all." And he said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yes." He ran inside, and the music was playing, and he went around the house looking for all of them and shooting them. And then later, his cousin came over, and he was in a tuxedo T-shirt, and my cousin was also in a tuxedo T-shirt. And I just heard them screaming in the basement. I had no idea what that noise was. And then his cousin runs up the stairs screaming, "Ah!" And then my son has got one of those cardboard figures chasing after him with the Jaws character.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
You really went all out, huh?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I definitely go all out for my boys.
Oh, that sounds perfect. I bet he loved it.
And mine is much shorter, but I remember going to Discovery Zone when I was a kid. I remember that Batman Returns had just came out, so I got a lot of Batman toys and coloring book and things like that. I remember the friends that were there, and I remember my big brother getting in the ball pit, and all the other kids that were my age getting frustrated with him because he kept going down the slide, and they would pull him out of the slide.
Oh no.
And it was a lot of fun. I miss Discovery Zone a lot. But anyway, those are my quick memories.
Those are some great memories. It actually
sounds like so much fun.
Yeah. It actually reminds me a lot of this one time my dad did a Mission Impossible themed birthday for me when I was like
They're
around.
similar, right? I've never seen those movies.
When
but-
did MI2 come out, Chelsea or Alex? 96, right?
Oh no,
98?
MI2 that was 2000s. I want to say that was.
I don't know.
I want to say that
Oh,
was.
yeah. So
Maybe 2001.
I had that birthday, and I remember my dad doing something similar to like the 007 thing, where he like set up a tape recorder with him like doing a mission on it, and I had to like go around the yard finding clues and just pretend that I was Tom Cruise with lots of explosions behind me going through it.
I think I remember that. There was a lot of outside activities.
Yeah. All my friends from like 6th grade were there, and it was interesting. I had to use a lot of my imagination to make it work because we didn't have millions of dollars to pay for fireworks or whatever. But it was still fun. It was in the heart of the spirit of having the theme, and I really appreciate that memory a lot. I also have a couple other ones that I'd like to mention that were recently unlocked. One where Chelsea, I don't know if you remember this, but you remember like my friend Michael Dean when I was really little, like around 3 or 4.
The name rings a bell, but
our mom was friend with his mom, and we went over his house, and I remember like being really excited that.
Oh yeah, Kathy. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Kathy.
She invited the Red Power Ranger to his birthday party, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I was really into Power Rangers at the time.
We loved Power Rangers. We were obsessed. Pink and yellow, obviously. And white.
And I was into blue and green mostly.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, I obviously, because I was little, I didn't pick up on this, but the Red Power Ranger, he just did like a few poses like ha hoo ha 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 ha, and said a few phrases like it's morphin' time and stay in school, kids. And when I've actually revisited this photo a few times, when I look at it, I didn't realize the Red Ranger the Red Ranger really needs to lose a few pounds, because he does not look like in shape that he did on TV. Like, he's the strong one. He's got bulging muscles for like a 16, 17, 18-year-old. This guy, not so much. Like, yeah. It is what it is. And I thought it was interesting because I remember chasing after the Red Ranger, like, wait, don't go back. And then he disappears, and I realized
that was at his party.
Yeah, it was at his party. Then I realized that
birthday party,
he was just when he escaped, I thought he teleported to like Zordon's command center, because I couldn't find him as we all went around like, the garage.
Oh my gosh.
Like 3 years old. 4 years old, somewhere around there.
Oh, tiny, yeah.
Yeah. And then another, I think it was around, I was a little bit older, like around 6, 7, 8. You remember Curly's, Chelsea? Like it was similar to Chuck E. Cheese's.
Oh yes. It was like Chuck E. Cheese's, and it was actually
or Discovery Zone, where it had like ball pits and you can like climb through cargo nets, and it had those tubes with like
climbing
the portholes in it. Yeah. I remember doing that with like our they're not cousins, but like Nick.
We went to a lot of
Nick Angeletti and his brother and sister and whatnot. We all went there together, and I remember getting stuck at the very top near the vent because it was like four floors tall, and I'm like, I don't want to fall over to the other side where it's all flat and just carpet. So I remember like one of the adults having to fish me out because I went too high and I got too adventurous.
Oh my gosh.
Went above the obstacles instead of through them.
I was obsessed with those places. I always loved going to Curly's, and it was also next to the pet store as well.
Yeah. It was
like every time we went in there, we got a dog. But they were cute to look at the puppies. So.
Yeah.
But Curly's was amazing, for sure.
It was.
That definitely sparked some birthday memories.
Birthday parties are synonymous with ball pits and colorful rainbow slides in our family.
I remember we definitely went to a lot of parties there. And, that just reminded me, because I couldn't even remember like the birthday memories. This is so long ago, the kids' birthdays. But after you saying some things now, I was reminded. So I guess I'll start with my first. So obviously my first birthday memory that comes to mind is my son Leo. He just turned 1 year old in December. So it was his first birthday, and that was really nice to relive it with him, and just we made it sweet and special and everything. And so I just remember his birthday that happened. We got him some gifts, and just to see the look on his face and his smile, just when he's playing and having a good time, like that's the best. So, and then that just also reminded me of like my birthday memories. We were speaking of curlies earlier, and that was that reminds me because when I was younger, I had birthday parties at least at McDonald's, like their play place. So like
Yeah.
that the climbing plastic tubes, like they had a play place like that. So that kind of tied in, reminds me. But
I remember ceramic
whatever.
chairs we used to spin around on and get dizzy. Do you remember that at all? When we got like our chicken nuggets, we went outside and we just like spun around like this
I don't know.
merry-go-round
I don't
thing.
think so. I was probably too little, but
Oh, sorry. I'm confusing that with the
I try to
Burger
block
King.
the fast food memories out of my mind. Okay, so I'm really digging
Yeah.
here.
I hear you. Yeah, I know, because you're a health nut now.
Well, I just can't. Well, I'm not going to go play in those things like Leo can. I'll bring him there to do that. But
I was actually
whatever,
confusing
they're
that
fun.
McDonald's memory with the Burger King castle that was in Meriden, Connecticut. You remember that? It had like a king's jousting area. I don't know if Dad took you there, but it definitely
You
was
have a
like
good memory. I don't know.
yeah, I do have a
know.
photographic memory, but if
Probably.
you ask me something tomorrow, I
Yeah.
wouldn't remember it.
God, I feel like mine's just like forget
Well,
everything nowadays. But
Sorry,
that's
I'm not
good.
trying to overshadow your memories. I'm just saying
No.
there was a Burger King in Meriden, Connecticut that was like literally this castle,
Yeah.
and it had like Renaissance style jousting where you could eat a burger while watching that happen medieval
Really?
style.
Oh my
And it was like
God.
3
I
floors
definitely
with a
don't remember
spiral
that.
staircase, and it was totally themed. My dad knows
Oh,
about it. You can ask him.
that's crazy. Oh my
That's
gosh,
awesome.
that's so funny.
Yeah.
I had no idea that existed. I'd love
It
to have
does
seen
sound
that.
cool though.
And I'm assuming you saw the
Cool.
pictures I
Yay.
sent you.
Yeah, I was just going to share that actually. So Alex sent me pictures of his 007 birthday party for Sam. I don't
Oh
know
my
if you can see
God.
that at all. I'm sorry,
Looks
it's
like a
blurry.
ninja.
Yeah. And then
Aw.
there's Alex. I have the actual photos. I'll just show.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah,
Look at
that's
all
really
that.
good illustration for like the
Oh
villains.
yeah.
Ah,
Really good props and everything. Oh my gosh, what a great
Yeah.
theme though. That's like perfect. 7, like I mean, that seems like the perfect age to be into
He's only going to be 7.
that kind of stuff. That's really cool. Yeah. Oh yeah. That
do you
is
think
true.
you'll either of you will ever do a Nickelodeon themed birthday at some point for your children?
If either of them get into it, absolutely. I know Sam enjoys them, but he's not into it like his daddy is. But he does like to sit down and watch them whenever I sit down to watch them for Splat Attack.
Aw.
But he's not a diehard avid fan. Right now, it's James Bond's superheroes and Scooby Doo.
No, Scooby Doo.
We'll convert him in soon enough.
I love
Oh,
Scooby
yeah.
Doo.
Working on it.
Love it. We loved it too.
Yeah.
Gotta love the
yeah.
old shows.
Half the fun of watching Scooby-Doo is figuring out who the villain is. But for now, we're here, of course, because we're talking top 5 birthday episodes that are 90s Nickelodeon related. And boy, if we have quite a bit to choose from. I was actually pleasantly surprised with how many I was able to dig up from a wide assortment of shows that we are accustomed to watching. Some I didn't even think had birthday episodes, and some have multiple birthday episodes. So I'm kind of curious to see how each of our lists are going to turn out for our patrons. So with that being said, let's just jump right in and open the first present. Alex, what is your top 5? We'll go in chronological order again, since we're all A, B, and C here.
Perfect.
Well, my number 5. This is one of those. Well, I'll tell you the show. Hey, dude.
Hey, dude.
It's a little wild and a little strange.
Yeah.
I
good
like
times.
Hey Dude, but I remember not really caring for it when I was a kid. Just because I think the content just went over my head.
Yeah.
And
same.
the show is kind of slow paced for being set on a dude ranch. Hardly anything really happens. And it's just a bunch of cheesy puns. Salute Your Shorts is infinitely better.
Yes.
But being who I am, I wanted to check it out again when I was an adult. And I really found something innocent about the show, even though it's not well acted. For a few actors, some of them are very good. And the writing is really mundane, and they kind of go the safe route most of the time. A couple of times they push their boundaries with what they could at the time. But it's fine. I understand if people don't really care for it, but something about it just brought me back to what it felt like at that time. And I kind of missed being a kid. And I remember playing, it was one of those white noise shows. And going back and watching it as an adult, I really did enjoy it. And it actually did get a lot of chuckles out of me, even though it's really, really cheesy and hokey.
Oh, yeah.
But the episode in particular is Battle of the Sexes. And every episode had two plots that happened simultaneously. One was the main and one was the smaller subplot. Battle of the Sexes was very much Brad and Ted's episode. And the two of them were always at it, always arguing with each other, which was part of the charm of the show. And one of the things about Hey Dude is they usually took a lot of the sitcom tropes and then would just keep doing them over and over and over, because that's all it was. And Battle of the Sexes is exactly what it sounds like. Ted was saying how much better boys are, and Brad was saying how much better girls are, and then they would insult the boys and the girls. It in 1990 mindset, it was fine. In 2022 mindset, it's like, wow, some of these comments could really be taken as sexist. But but either way, it was the 90s, and this was a kid's show, and we really didn't think that way at the time. And it was fine. It wasn't anything spectacular. But Danny, on the other hand, this was his birthday was coming up, and he was being very, very subtle.
When's your birthday, do you know?
Oh, no, I don't. Why?
Oh, it's just nice to know when people's birthdays are. When's yours?
Mine's in September.
That's nice. Say, Ted, when's your birthday?
Oh, mine's in March, Danny.
That's great. Birthdays are a wonderful thing, aren't they?
Well, I think they're kind of lame.
Oh, I guess. Oh.
What is wrong with Danny?
With letting everyone know that his birthday was coming up by just asking someone point blank, hey, when's your birthday? Oh, when's your birthday? How about you? When's your birthday? Well, why do you ask, Danny? Well, it would just be a shame, if anybody, I want to remember your birthday because it'd be a shame if I forgot when your birthday is. And then everyone just is like, yeah, that's nice. And then they'd walk off. And
I feel like Danny needs like someone making a bunch of noise with like giant cue cards or something saying like, hey, ask Danny about his birthday.
and of course, Ted knows. And it's one of the usual trope that you see in sitcoms. They are already well aware it's his birthday, but they're planning a surprise birthday party for him at the end. So they're just act clueless, or they have no interest at all. And they just avoid the conversation and stick with the Battle of the Sexes. I can't have time to talk about birthdays right now. Let's go we're gotta compete with this horse race. Oh crap, I lost. No, I didn't. You didn't follow the rules right. So now we gotta do a different competition. Oh, hey, it would be a good competition? Baking cupcakes for birthdays. Yes, a cupcake competition. That's great. And of course, they do the big reveal at the end of Happy Birthday. But it's not a spectacular episode, but it is one that does make me feel very nostalgic, and I do enjoy it for that reason.
Yeah, it's a pretty good pick. I have a similar experience with Hey Dude myself, where I ended up getting the DVDs in 2011 when they had like a big Shout Factory release of all the shows from Nickelodeon. And it was something that definitely went over my head. The only thing I really remembered from it as a child is, Ted pissing everyone off, and Mr. Ernst and his goofy giant 10-gallon hat, and him getting into situations like Ugg would on Salute Your Shorts. I do remember that birthday one just because of how subtle and like timid Danny was, and I really felt like he just needed to be a little more aggressive so that Ted and Brad's type A personalities could just take a back seat for a moment, so we can all just take the time to celebrate something a little bit special here. Because even if it doesn't seem like birthdays are that important when you get older, it's still nice to have someone mention it to you, to just remind you of all like the fond memories you have growing up, either during each birthday you had or just in general. So I like how they finally turned it around at the end with the whole cupcake segue and finally got to him, because if they didn't do that and they just focused on the Battle of Sexes, forget it. I would pan or trash this show. At least this episode. Cool. Well, I think my number 5 is interesting because I don't usually mention this show too often when I'm talking about Nickelodeon in general, but I've recently been getting more into it thanks to my girlfriend, because she and I do like stick nights at home on occasion. So this show comes up a lot. And I actually decided to pick Kenan and Kel for this. So my number 5 is the episode Clowning Around from season 2, episode 2. And it's basically about this birthday clown that I think is invited to Kyra's birthday. And I think Kenan, you'll have to bear with me because it's been a couple of weeks since I've seen it.
Sure.
But I think there was 2 clowns that got mixed up. One that like robbed a bank recently, and then the one that went to Kyra's birthday party, and they looked like uncannily similar. So when Kenan and Kel like spotted him at the birthday party, they immediately like pounce on him and attack him and try to take him into jail. And then Kyra's like, stop it. You're ruining my party. It had tons of physical comedy and laugh out loud moments when I watched it. I just wish I remember what it was. I'm so sorry to all you patrons because I have so much going on in the background that it's just hard to keep track of all the shows I have to watch in preparation for our episodes. And we're like churning out Patreon episodes and bonus episodes and mini episodes. So yeah. All right, Chelsea, what you got for your number 5 pick?
So let's see. For number 5, I think it was one of the Rugrats episodes. I think it was Angelica's birthday.
Really?
I enjoyed watching. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but I literally loved any Rugrats shows growing up. It was still a good one. It brought back fond memories. So,
good. I remember some quotes that stuck out to me because I did recently watch this, and I remember I'm like, oh my goodness, Angelica's dressing up as a baby. I forgot about this episode, but now that I hear the stupid clown music that Chaz and Howard are dancing to,
I know. I wish we were watching it now. It was so funny. It was.
Yeah, I love their like act that they try to impress Charlotte with, and they're like doing the whole thing, and they drop pies on each other.
And now for our next trick. Oops. Smooth move, Flubbo.
Okay, you've got the job. The kids will love this routine.
And
yeah, I forgot about that. I remembered when I saw it, and I was like, I thought it was so funny when I was little. Obviously, it's like you think it's funny in a different way, like when you're grown up. So
well, when you're a kid, you're like you're just focused on the babies, but when you're watching as an adult, you relate more to the adults.
Right? Yeah, for sure. Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Remember when Charlotte said, "This is an outrage," and it like zoomed into her epiglottis.
That was one of the quotes that we said for sure. So I remembered that.
Yeah, we used to quote Nickelodeon shows a lot for those who don't know, me and my sister, and that was one of them. And I think also Angelica's little bit like acting like a baby, like asking her dad for milk with the bottle, like,
oh, I know. Like, never. He scolded her so bad after that.
Yeah.
I was like, good, you tell her off. She was always a brat. I mean, I like.
So why'd you like her so much?
Growing up, and I'm like, no, I didn't like her. I didn't.
It seemed like you looked up to her.
No, she was crazy. I knew she was wrong. I knew she was wrong. She's the villain. Like, obviously.
Yeah.
She loved to hate her.
It was a fun episode nonetheless. I think for an Angelica focused one, it was very lighthearted, and I did enjoy seeing some cameo appearances from previous like lesser known Rugrats characters showing up. Like I think Belinda from Showdown at Teeter Totter Gulch was there. Dean from Angelica in Love was there. Jacques also from Angelica in Love was there. A couple others too that are from the earlier seasons. So it's like a nice amalgamation of like Rugrats universe-esque citizens that are babies, of course. Just all showing up at once. It's a lot of fun and not a lot of like mean-spiritedness that we're kind of used to from Angelica.
Yeah, no, that's why it was my fifth favorite. Because I mean, I love Rugrats, but it was very Angelica focused, and I was just like, ew. So she's just like not whatever. She's a brat.
Don't tell that to our
Like
friend
I
of the pod,
said,
RJ.
so
He looks up to her.
changed.
He worships her.
Well, I definitely don't. That's why she's my top 5. So there's way better Rugrats episodes where she's not the
Fair enough. I'm glad you finally
feeling it all.
I'm glad you finally set the story straight here, because I always thought you looked up to her.
Well, yeah, of course. I got to set the story straight.
Yeah. So you're more of a Lil fan, huh?
Accurate, but yes. I mean, I don't know. I think like Team Chucky. He's the oldest because he has teeth and like so much hair, like and glasses. He looks very distinguished. But yeah, I did not like Angelica.
Fair enough. Cool. Alex, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is Clarissa Explains It All. And it's kind of the same area that Hey Dude was, where the birthday kind of took the backseat to the main episode, but it was Marshall's midlife crisis. As a kid, I just thought it was cool to watch kids be kids. As an adult, and especially as a dad, I really connect with shows where the parents are very much a part of their kids' lives, and they're not complete D-bags. And I really love Clarissa Explains It All for a number of reasons, but a big one is the parents, because Janet and Marshall are killer parents. They're a bit off the wall and out there with their extremes and their interests, but that makes sense because you have Clarissa, who's also very extreme in her interests in Ferguson. But this particular episode, Marshall is going to be having his birthday soon, and he is realizing that he's reaching an age where he's hitting the midlife crisis, and he's just done being an architect, making these really incredible architecture pieces. The only thing he's really known for is making bathrooms, and that's not what he wants to do anymore. He's always wanted to do other things and make other incredible buildings, not just bathrooms. And he decides to, he's done. He quits. And not only has he quit, but he has decided the entire family is going to move.
Wow.
To Mango Island, where their main source of food is mangoes. And
yum, love mangoes.
Me too.
And the rest of the family is not really into it, but they're trying to be supportive of Marshall. But he's all about this adventure. Now they got to sell the house. And they find a buyer, and the buyers are talking about the house and going through Clarissa's room. And yes, this drab pink. We must paint it mocha.
Oh, man.
And then they got talking about some of the things, their old homes, and Clarissa was they had made mention of their old homes, but they were looking for something a little more unique, if only they could find someone who would design it. And that's when Clarissa had the brilliant idea of, oh, well, my dad's an architect. He could probably, why don't you go show them your designs? And of course, Marshall was, no. But they were very insistent. Oh, you have designs here? Oh, we'd love to see them. And then they are very inspired to have Marshall have them design their home, which is what he's been wanting to do. And of course, that changes his mind back to, no, well, we'll stay. That'd be kind of stupid for us to go to Mango Island. But he goes full extremes. He goes into this really dramatic poet stance where he's dressed all in black, sitting at the table reading very depressing poetry, or making something up, and then someone says, oh, have you been reading that really dreadful poet again? Only when my spirits need lifting. And it was fun. It was a fun episode, and it's not one that sticks out very well, like Marshall dressed in those parachute pants doing MC Hammer.
Right.
But I still really like that, especially like the episodes that follow the parents. Again, now being an adult, and while the birthday isn't the main thing, that is what sparks the midlife crisis. So that is my number 4 pick.
That's a great pick. I was not expecting that. even though I was kind of looking for a Clarissa birthday themed episode initially when I made this list. What season is that? And also, what season and episode are the Hey Dude ones?
That was season 4.
Okay.
And I believe that's episode 9. Let me double check that real quick just to make sure.
That's why I haven't seen it, because I've only seen the first 2 seasons of Clarissa in entirety. But it sounds like a really fun episode. Like I really like episodes where they focus on the parents once in a while, because we get to see more of their personality outside of their mom and dad roles, and sounds like a lot of fun.
That is season 3, episode 9.
Okay. Well, cool. We'll have to check that one out then. Where was I going with this?
Yeah. Number 4, right? That was number 4.
What's that? What?
You like the episodes that follow the parents was what
Yes, I like the episodes that follow the parents to give them more development, so we can see like what the influence was on their special brand of wackiness based on their background. Like finding out Marshall is a hippie is pretty fun, because they definitely interweave that into certain episodes. And then, Clarissa's mom working at the Children's Museum and also being like a health nut with some unusual recipes. That's also fun. So, yeah, I'll definitely have to check out that Marshall's midlife crisis one. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
And
that was the 4th one, right?
Yeah, that was 4.
Yeah. Oh, good. Perfect.
And what was the Hey Dude one?
Battle of the Sexes, that was season 1. Battle of the Sexes, that was episode 2.
Okay. Wow, right out of the gate. And then Angelica's birthday was season 3, I believe. I don't know the number.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, but
season 3, episode 13.
Perfect.
B.
Alex is our go-to professional Google searcher for the podcast.
Oh, perfect. Yeah,
the handy.
Angelica one seemed later than the Tommy's birthday one, so I could tell the difference in seasons.
Speaking of Tommy's birthday.
Yeah, right.
That's my number 4, which is season 1, episode
perfect.
1. Yeah, it starts off the series, and it's a full-length episode, and it's not often you get a full-length Rugrats episode.
Happy birthday, Tommy. You're a whole year old today.
And boy, we got some great presents for you. Wait till he sees my present, Dee Dee.
And this is probably one of the most iconic Rugrats episodes that I remember from my childhood watching grow up, because of one reason. 2 words. Dog food. I've always wanted to know what it tastes like, and of course seeing the babies try to get Spike's food made me want to try it. And I think I tried it at least once when we were living at the Durham house, and I remember it tasting like slimy and gamey and meaty, and I never tried it again. Yeah, not to gross you out, but I was a very curious kid.
I don't remember that.
Well, I do. I remember going near Haley and
Tell
Sierra's
me about
dish.
it. I'm not gonna go do it. Oh, geez. That's funny.
It's all right.
I remember that.
But Tommy's first birthday is a very iconic episode. It's celebrating him being 1 and also making it known how young he is in the series, despite being like the leader baby of the pack. I really like seeing this because it's a portrait of like all the characters that we've come to know in the Pickles family coming together. You got Drew and Angelica showing up. You've got Boris and Minka, which I believe are Dee Dee's parents.
Yes.
Which also I believe they're Hungarian.
They look like her.
Which is also like my heritage too, which is pretty neat. And then Betty and Howard is there. All 4 of the other babies, Phil, Little Chucky. It's fun, and it's an example of how sometimes you try your hardest to plan a birthday like as perfect as possible, kind of like what I did with this episode, trying to plan it as perfect as possible. And sometimes life just wants to, just knock it right off the table and say, hey, you're just going to have to roll with it. And nothing says that better than like the puppet show that happens between Stu and Drew. And they're like,
oh my God, that was the
arguing
best part.
with the little puppets. And like you see the Little Red Riding Hood hit the mother wolf one with the little basket. And I just roll on the floor laughing every time I see that, because they have so much character through their own personal issues. And meanwhile, Tommy and the baby are just trying to get the dog food best they can that's like hanging on top of the ceiling fan. And Chucky maneuvers like the Hoverama UFO type RC controlled device that Tommy gets for his birthday that why would he even know how to use that? He's 1 year old. What are you thinking, Stu? It's just bonkers. It's full of, the chaos of like everything going wrong that we see so often in earlier Rugrats episodes, like Incident in Aisle 7, for example. And it really hits a special nostalgic place for me. I can revisit this any age, and it still feels like I'm watching it for the first time. So for that, I got to put it on my list.
Awesome.
Chelsea, what is your number 4?
So that one would be Blue's Birthday. So I actually really liked the show Blue's Clues growing up. I think it came along like later in the 90s. So
it was in 96.
It was like a little young for us. It was a little young for us, but I still remember liking it. And I appreciate the Steve episodes. Like back then, they were so much different. Like he was 90s. Now they have updated seasons.
We're a Steve house here. We're not Joe or Asian Steve or who else is there. There's a plethora of other characters.
It's Josh now because I watched the new episodes. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Leo likes watching it. Leo loves watching it.
Well, that's good at least. Yeah, it translates well for young kids. And I remember I used to watch a lot of episodes with our brother Devin because he was born in 96. So like when one of us had to babysit him while our parents were working, we would bond over Blue's Clues. And this is definitely one that I remember seeing on TV for the first time then.
Yeah, this is one that we watched with him when he was little. So it was perfect age for him. We were a little older, but I still liked it. But still like it now, watching it with him, like supervising, I definitely approve. So most of the episodes.
Do you have a favorite moment from the episode?
Yeah, no, this was cute to watch the Blue's Birthday one because, like I said, it was like the older version. And then Steve and I think Salt and Pepper, they made some cupcakes and whatever they were trying to find missing sprinkles for it. And at the end, after they went through all the clues and everything, it was like a tank and I think rocks. And then the last one was a turtle. And the
shell.
Turtle was so cute, and her name was Turquoise. So. Yeah, it was. I like seeing that. It was cute. She got a pet turtle for her birthday.
Present time. Present time. Open a present and see what's inside. Here you go, Blue. Do you know what it is, Blue? It's a special green turtle with a blue dotted shell. Just for you, Blue. Her name is Turquoise. Can you believe it? That's exactly what Blue wanted. Happy birthday, Blue. I love you.
Yeah, it was a very wholesome feeling episode, and I couldn't help but watch it myself just for the nostalgia and thinking back about those memories when we used to watch it when we were super young with
our brother by ourselves. I definitely remembered that episode too when we watched it with Dev. So
also
fun.
I have a confession to make.
Yeah.
That song that Steve and Blue used to sing during that episode got stuck in my head the entire day before this episode recording.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's like...
Oh my gosh. You do that good. Yeah. Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
You memorized that to a T. But I know what you're talking about. That was good.
Yeah.
That was my number 4 favorite, I would say. I liked it, but obviously that's more in Leo's range, his age range. But
it's all good. Nick Jr. is included on our podcast. We don't discriminate. Yes. Cool. Well,
right there you go. And then Little Bear, though I've seen enough of Little Bear, so I was because I've seen a ton of Little Bear with Leo. He watches that like every day, so that's why Blue's Clues was good to see today.
Oh, good. All right. Thank you for sharing Blue's Clues, Blue's Birthday, Chelsea. That was a really great pick, and that hit a soft spot for me, too.
Yeah.
So, Alex, what is your number 3?
Okay, so this is highly original.
Oh.
But my number 3 is Tommy's first birthday from season 1 of Rugrats. And no, it's no joke. That was my number 3 pick, which is why I didn't say anything whenever you had finished yours. But for the same reasons that you had pointed out. It was the show that I saw that got me hooked on Rugrats because it's the first show. And this was when Rugrats, well, they just started all the Nicktoons, and I was really excited because Nickelodeon's got new cartoons, and I want to see what these cartoons are. And watched all three of them, and I loved all three of them. And Doug didn't hit me the way, at least the premiere did, like the remaining of the series did. And Ren and Stimpy, I really liked portions of the humor, and some of it I just didn't get. Yeah. But Rugrats, that hit me at the perfect point that I needed it to, especially that first episode. And I loved it as a kid. It's iconic, and it's the only time we see, I think it's the only time we see Tommy without his iconic blue top and
yeah. It was weird. He was wearing like a red shirt with blue suspenders.
Different outfit.
And I think that was also, I mean, they didn't have the suspenders, but they did have the red shirt for the ID bumper where he's sitting next to Spike and he's flipping through the TV and the dude's fishing.
I think he also wore it in Realer Robots too. Like it was kind of here and there in season 1.
But just to touch on something a little different from what you had pointed out, because I don't want to rehash the same content, but I do want to say that some of my favorite moments going back and watching it as an adult, I really appreciate the fact that when they made this episode, they really had full fleshed out conversations that was taking place in the background. Most shows would just have them start something and then it would trail off till it's completely quiet. They kept a full conversation going that you could follow almost the whole time until they were completely in the kitchen and the door closed. But you could still hear a lot of Stu and Drew arguing with each other. And the volume dropped, but you could still hear much of it. And I loved the fact that Grandpa had also got a puppet to intervene with the two of them arguing. That makes me laugh.
I think it's like a little lumberjack or something.
Yeah.
That was the best part.
Cut it out or I'm going to axe you.
I know, that was great.
And my favorite line, and it wasn't the line, it was the delivery, is how Stu just yells, skateboard.
Skateboard?
Skateboard!
Yeah.
Skateboard!
Yeah.
That was one
touched
of
the
our
nerve.
Yeah.
The only reason I did that was because you know what you did with my skateboard. Skateboard!
Yeah.
Skateboard!
Yeah.
That was my bike. I earned it with my paper route. It was still usable. I only bent the handlebars a little, and that was on account of what you did to my skateboard. Skateboard! Skateboard!
Okay, let's agree to disagree. Stu, you shouldn't have wrecked Drew's skateboard. Drew, you shouldn't have bent Stu's handlebars.
What's the matter with you, Diddy? Let the boys argue.
That was his breaking point for sure.
Yeah. But it's funny that actually popped up, just to have a quick little aside, because there was another episode I don't remember that I revisited called Mama Trauma from season 1 that he kind of goes more in depth about his childhood trauma. And that also unfolds further in this episode where there's like a black and white flashback and Drew and Stu are babies and they have to reach like a radio from their crib. I don't know if you remember that one.
I don't.
It's the point I'm trying to make is that I like how Rugrats has layers of complexity with their writing.
Yes.
It's not just exchange of dialogues. There's like plot going on. There's side conversations that's interweaving. There's like overarching arcs that kind of find their way through different episodes, even different seasons. So that's what I love about Rugrats, and I think that's why it became such a powerhouse by the late 90s with its multiple movies before SpongeBob showed up, was because it knew how to like approach seeing the world through the eyes of a baby, but also involving everyone around them, because a baby's world is not in isolation. They're not an island. It takes a village to raise one. And so we have to see all those different aspects of it to make their lives complete.
And I think, just because I had mentioned it earlier, Doug's writing was great with relatability. Ren and Stimpy's was great just because of how bonkers it was. But going back and watching Rugrats as an adult, I think it has the most solid writing in terms of dialogue and story combined, because they really gave all characters, and there's a lot of characters, great lines and full fleshed out characters. Even the ones that are just in the sidelines half the time have full fleshed out personalities. And that is a real testament to why this show lasted as long as it did and the powerhouse fan base that it still has today.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't say it better myself. It's just well-rounded and strong. Still
Yeah,
going strong.
Rugrats was definitely one of my favorites just growing up because I know the parents, like even today, what the parents were saying was just really funny today. Like they were just hilarious jokes that made sense. So yeah, I definitely second that. Rugrats is strong.
Cool. Well, for my number 3, I know the show hasn't gotten a lot of love on our podcast yet, but we will definitely make up for that in a later season coming up. This is Hey Arnold, and I picked Eugene's birthday from season 4, episode 3. And the reason why I picked this is because it's not that I was a klutz or that I knew friends who were klutzes. It's just really because I love the dynamic between Arnold and Eugene and how they think each other is essentially a jinx. And it kind of comes to a head here with all the shared history they have, starting with like Eugene's bike and his goldfish and just all leading into the story. And how, essentially this time around, Arnold tries to throw a birthday party for Eugene and somehow it just messes up. And I know it's not easy throwing parties, as we mentioned, for Rugrats. But sometimes one little thing's out of place and it just, everything just kind of collapses like a house of cards. Case in point, when Arnold gave like his cold cuts to Harvey the mailman and they exchanged the invitations. I love that particular moment when he like finds out that he's not eating cold cuts because it's in his sandwich. And he's like, dang, Eugene's having a party? I don't know what to wear. It's like classic line. And then you just kind of cut to see Eugene and Arnold sitting there with like the melted cake, the melted candles, the balloons deflating. And it's like, man, if there's been any moments in my life where I didn't feel popular, this definitely illustrates what it's like to feel that way. But I definitely appreciate, despite all the challenges that they continue to have as two characters sharing this weird like jinx klutz dynamic, that they persevere with not 1, not 2, but 3 birthdays. I believe the second one was held in the aquarium that we saw from the field trip episode, but that didn't quite work out. And then we have a third one that's held in Arnold's backyard, and Arnold pulls out all the stops to like make sure everyone's there who needs to be there. He even bubble wraps like everything around the table so that no one would like knock anything over, and all the presents are in order, and it just so happens that it like rains over Arnold's house, that one little black cloud in the backyard that's, just trying to make their lives miserable, even though they're trying their darnest to make it work. And I just love that classic Eugene, I'm okay kind of instance where he goes through it all anyways. And, I mean, that's why I picked it for our episode thumbnail, because of the zany, like physical slapstick comedy and just how sometimes, even if things don't go as planned, you can still enjoy a birthday.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're on for my third pick. It was SpongeBob. This was another one of my favorite shows, next to Rugrats, and for the birthday episodes. So it was Pearl's birthday, and in the episode, she got a pair of really squeaky boots. Like they look like pirate rain boots. And I think SpongeBob took them from her, and he was just walking everywhere, squeaking around. And then Mr. Krabs was like super upset because all he kept hearing was the squeak noise that SpongeBob was making wearing Pearl's birthday gift. He got her those though. So I'm like, why are you surprised? Whether it's Pearl or SpongeBob in the boots making the noise, I mean, would have annoyed him. So that was funny. I don't know how it ended, but it was definitely a memorable part of the episode for sure.
Hey, Squidward. Do you like my new boots? Pretty cool, huh?
I mean, the episode is called Squeaky Boots, so it's hard for me to, imagine anything else other than finding different ways to be squeaky and annoying.
Yeah, no, it was still really good though. I mean, the birthday part was in the beginning of the episode.
Yeah,
like, short-lived,
I remember.
But it was fine. It was funny, because it's older SpongeBob, so all of those were good. I feel like I don't watch the stuff today, but
yeah. Disclaimer, Alex, me, my sister, and my brother all bonded over SpongeBob, but it's seasons 1 to 3 only. Season 4, forget that. Onward, forget that. I know it triggers you. I'm just putting a disclaimer out there. That...
You're fine. I'm not triggered at all.
Yeah, no triggers here. It was just funny because like they get more I don't know, just like different. Like they had really like cute original jokes. Like I don't know, like I'd let younger watch those. The
Right.
later ones for later
Too
ages,
bizarre.
so kind of matches up.
Yeah, the earlier ones definitely had a wholesome quality to it. It was kind of like a mix between Hey Arnold and Rocko's Modern Life, if you can imagine that, where it's just like a kid trying to be a fry cook, or someone in his 20s trying to be a fry cook and just dealing with little hijinks here and there in their underwater world.
Yeah, it was funny because they were like, it was just all about the work today and getting to work and getting, because he had to get away from the squeaky boots now.
Yeah, it like bothered
So
him
he
like
drives out of town. It was just funny how they have their little little
Yeah.
adult like sea life. It was funny to watch. But
Yep. If
yeah,
there's
it
one
was,
quote I remember from that episode, it's Pearl saying, "Oh, Dad, you shouldn't have," as she's opening the present, and then she says, "Oh, really, Dad, you really shouldn't have," and she holds up the boots, and she's like,
Oh
"What? They're
yeah,
on sale."
she didn't like them. Yeah, he liked them
Yeah.
because they were cheap, so that was funny.
Yeah.
He was always very budget friendly, and
Yeah, I'm
Pearl's
sure we've all
personality is cute. I like still growing up, she's funny.
definitely. I'm sure we all had like one person at our birthday party who's like, "I like you, but I don't like you that much. So here's something that I kind of put together last minute. I hope you enjoy it."
Yeah,
Here's a card with a
homemade.
happy face on it.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah, no, that's a good pick.
Mm.
All right,
Yeah.
Alex, we're getting close to the bottom of our list now. What is your number 2 pick for the top birthday episodes?
So my top two are going to get a little personal, and I don't get overly personal except for that Doug episode, but these last two really hit something I feel very deeply about. So it's not just the episodes themselves, but the messages that they give.
Mhm.
And it's also not often that I get to talk about something not 90s, but my son, Sam, well, both my boys are named after the show Supernatural.
Mhm.
And Supernatural, one of my favorite things about it, and one of the things they say is the whole show's about family. And there's one quote that I really love that says, "Family don't end with blood." And that hit me a lot because growing up, especially whenever I hit college and then to adulthood or through adulthood, didn't really bond that much with my family. And I ended up getting a surrogate family with my friends and my theater friends and my church friends. And I made my own family. And that quote always stuck with me. But that was Supernatural as a whole, because they had so few family. And I did not know that there was a Nickelodeon show that also touched on this very same subject until we started doing Splat Attack, and I got to sit down and watch all these episodes.
I think I know what it is, but continue.
And that episode is from Space Cases, season 1, episode 8. It's my birthday too. Yeah.
What a weird title.
Yeah. But I had been wanting to check the show out, much like Keenan and Kel and some of the later shows. And I finally got around to sitting down watching these shows, especially whenever I was moving, which was right at the beginning of Splat Attack. And I really loved this episode. As a whole, the episode was fine. Bova had just had a birthday and nobody really said anything. And the crew is tasked with having to make a family tree, go through your ancestry, make a family tree. And Radu doesn't really have a family tree, and he doesn't really have a birthday. He doesn't have any of these things. So he's very much trying to relate to everybody else. Harlan starts talking about his history and, "Oh yes, did you know that my ancestors, they were slaves?" And Radu is, "Oh yeah, well, so were mine." And then somebody else was saying something about their history, and he's, "Oh yeah, me too." Or no, Bova came over. "Hey, did you guys know that like 2 or 3 days ago was Bova's birthday?" "Oh, it's my birthday too." And I mean, he's wanting desperately to be relatable to everybody else because he's so separate from everyone else, and he doesn't want that anymore. He wants to connect. He wants to have a family, but they don't really say that until later in the episode, and then he's caught in the lie. And of course, Harlan Band, being who he is and how abrasive he is, whether he means to or not, confronted Radu about the argument or the lying, and he felt bad and goes into a conversation with Thelma. Was that right? It was Thelma, right?
Yep.
Goes into a conversation with her or with it, and then he was trying to, I just wanted to have a family. Even if it was a fake one, I wanted to have a family. And while the supernatural quote, family don't end in blood, sticks with me a little more because it flows a lot easier, but I do really love the way Nickelodeon phrased it with, from my understanding, family is not just from who you are born, but also whom you belong.
Thanks.
Why were you upset at your party?
Because I lied, and they all knew I lied. That's why. I guess wanting to have a family, even a pretend one, was too much to ask for. You couldn't understand.
I couldn't. My understanding has always been that a family is not only those from whom you are born, but those to whom you belong. Did I screw up too?
No. Not at all.
And I really, really like that quote. And
Yeah.
that's when the show went from, oh, this is a good show, to you hit me right where I live. And this will always be one of my favorite episodes, not just of Space Cases, but of Nickelodeon history.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I watched this episode yesterday and it made me cry because I've had such a hard time like finding just my kin or like a family to belong to. Not biologically. I get along with my family fine, but like growing up at school, especially, just not being able to fit in and find people to relate to. And I felt a lot of what Radu felt with his personal struggles. So seeing him go through that too was kind of cathartic to think about those memories again, and also realize that, hey, you know, maybe these people, there are people out there that you can relate to that you may not see right in front of you, but they're definitely there and they connect with you and they care about you for you and not what you're trying to do for them. And that really speaks to both of us, I think, with the messages it portrays. Plus seeing Radu like revive that dragon inside of the weird meatball like asteroid at the end to like send him home. Oh my gosh, that was so touching. Like I felt for like a baby dying and you want to resuscitate it and just make it live. And it makes me think about my own desires to be a dad, because I felt him like being a father to that dragon in that very moment.
It really reminded me of 101 Dalmatians, the animated movie,
yeah,
where Roger was trying to revive that one puppy that didn't quite make it, but
so sad.
but he made it. Took some effort, but he made it. But that scene was exactly what I thought of.
Yeah. I was going to make this my number one, but I didn't want to cheat and have two number ones, so I just put it in my honorable mention section, but it's an honorable number one, so we'll leave it at that. But before we get ahead of ourselves, I'm going to tell you my number two pick, which is from one of my favorite Nicktoons, and had a big influence on my life growing up, especially my art style, and that is Rocko's Barden Life Born to Spawn from season 2, episode 9. A lot of this feels like Tommy's first birthday to me, like similar anxieties and just kind of processing what it's like to get older and celebrate, and you're not really sure how you feel about it relative to like your friends feeling about it and like trying to be there for you. But this is similar to Tommy's first birthday, but just moving it forward like 20 years, because all the cast of Rocko's Modern Life is like in their 20s. And it's like Filbert's rite of passage. There's the planets are aligning. He's reached a certain age where he has to go to Kerplopagos Islands, I think it is. It's a play on Galapagos.
Yeah.
And his friends are like trying to be happy for him, but they don't understand that he has this like primal urge to rejoin his fellow turtles at this island where they all originated from, and somehow go through some ritual that allows them to pass into manhood gracefully. And maybe it's not the most poignant pick on my list, but I love it for like the little moments of comedy and relatability of having like awkwardness trying to transition into adult and just trying to own your own cool, even if it is just like having a disco party with fellow turtles for like one day.
Should we go in? Well, he's got to be in here somewhere.
I really love the just silly visual gag of having this giant cake and then Heifer just dumping literally like oil barrels worth of teriyaki sauce on it, and Spunky like eating it with his head stuck into it on the side. It's a cute moment. And then of course you have that stupid like butt master guy who's like lifting weights with his butt cheeks, and Rocco like turns the upside down when Filbert's in a straight jacket tied in the iron bars. And it's I don't know what I could really say about this other than I love the comedic gags. I love the like birthday theming going on here that's blended with Rocco's trademark zaniness, and I think it might even be one of my top 10 all-time favorite Rocco episodes. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember Rocco going up. It was fun. I know that you really loved that show, and I liked it. It definitely didn't make my top 5, but I mean I liked it. So but I remember you loved it. So
it's kind of like
top 2.
For just before we get to your number 2, Chelsea, I think Rocco's Modern Life kind of has a Ren and Stimpy mixed with Doug vibe to it. Like there's still a few heartfelt moments, but there's also like gross out zaniness that.
Yeah, I never liked the gross stuff, but I do like the funny. This still is funny. Like remember.
I never realized how much in my life how many like background fart noises happen during Rocco until like watched episodes as an adult.
How's your dinner, Grandpa?
It tastes like wolf spit.
I don't know why they're there, but I don't know.
Right, I guess that's like normal when you're a kid, so it's funny. Then they put it in there.
Yeah, farts are funny.
Yeah. No.
But anyways, to your number 2, Chelsea.
So my number 2 was Rugrats again. So Tommy's birthday.
Hey, it's on all of our lists.
I know, exactly. We've mentioned it a few times. So like I said, Rugrats was one of my favorite shows.
There we go. I thought I was going to make a noise, but it didn't. Nope.
Yeah. And the first episode was distinct with like the animation, and just like we said, there was the first one. They were just starting out like their pilot, so that kind of set the tone for the show. Like it was good, but I definitely liked as the season progressed, most of the seasons of that as a whole. But yeah, so this one we already mentioned a lot about it. The puppet show was obviously the most hilarious part, and the parents bickering, like they were saying like really funny stuff. And Grandpa, he was hilarious how he says it took them 15 miles to walk anywhere. They had to walk 15 miles in his day, and
uphill both ways in the snow.
I thought it was funny then. I thought it was funny then, and I still think it's funny now. So I definitely gravitated towards, my whole list has a theme. But so yeah, it was good to watch it again.
Classic episode, and I'm glad you got to watch it, because I think for all of us, it really just hits a special spot of nostalgia.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of Rugrat video games. I remember, like, I was pretty obsessed with it. Nickelodeon, like, that was it.
Yeah, we covered Rugrats Search for Reptar in episode 21, playing through 90s Nick video games, and I remember that's one you and I used to play a lot too.
Yeah, no, definitely. A lot of other good
especially the mini golf games.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, Alex, take us home. What's your number 1?
So number 1 is, again, very personal. And being a dad, it's really frustrating, especially considering that I teach kids, and I see very, very much a fatherless generation. And actually tonight, a lot of my kids were just complaining about why their dads have got to be gone or deadbeats or jerks, and it hurts. And which is why I'm very much about trying to be there for my kids as much as I can, and as well as my other, even though they're not my kids, they're my kids. And I want to see good father figures in media, and in today's culture. Even in the 90s, there really wasn't that many good dads. A lot of the times they're buffoons. As much as I love Home Improvement, Tim is a buffoon. Full House, you've got 3 awesome dads, but Boy Meets World, you've got an awesome dad. But a lot of the times, especially when the 90s started phasing out and going into hell now, dads are kind of absent or idiots. There's not very many good dads on television and movies anymore, and it really bums me out, which is why whenever I do see a dad who's really doing what he can to be there for their kids, it really hits me. And it's not a note that hit me when I was a kid, because I had an awesome dad, and that was my lifestyle. I didn't grow up in a generation that was fatherless. And then whenever I started to get out of the nest and started to take care of other kids and started to realize how important it is to have a dad, I started to realize just how much more that it resonated with me when you do have good dads on the television. And that is the reason why this birthday episode hits me so much, and is much like Space Case is one of my favorite episodes of not just this particular series, but of Nickelodeon history and animated history for that reason too. But it is Doug's birthday present on season 4, episode 6, which is Doug's birthday's coming up, and his dad is wanting to do something special for him. And of course, he sees BB getting everything she wants from her very rich family, and he decides to quit his job as a photographer, taking baby pictures, and start his own photo studio, and doesn't realize just how much work that's going to be, and has pulled a lot of nights and put in a lot of overtime just to do something for his family. And as cheesy as the ending can be, because I mean, let's face it, it's a cartoon and it's kids, but at the end of the episode, Doug realizes just he doesn't want big presents. He doesn't want to be rich for his birthday. He just wanted his dad around. And that really hits. That really, really hits. And even though it's a cheesy thing, it's not a, even though it was cheesy in execution, the message is still very, very profound. And that reason is why it is my number 1 pick.
That means a lot.
Yeah, that is an excellent pick for that reason. And
definitely, I get it. Being a parent, like, I totally understand, and how, you know, it's important to have a good message, and, you know, kids shows, and they need to have good role models, and to have examples of that in a cartoon is really great, for sure.
Yeah, we definitely need more of that these days. I feel like there's so much push. I'm trying not to get political here, but I'm just going to gloss over it. There's so much push for like every minority under the sun, or like every group, especially with like feminism. And I just feel like, you know,
not that they're not important, because they are.
No, they are definitely important. I'm just trying to get at that. Like, I feel like single male adults, or even dads, husbands, anything like that, is kind of left in the dust because they're ordinary, or like they're from the previous generation. So somehow they're the enemy because they're not progressive. And people who are listening to this are welcome to disagree with us. I'm just sharing my viewpoint that it doesn't feel good to be part of a group that is ignored. And I'm sure many, many, many groups out there who are fighting for their own personal justice beliefs resonate with that too.
Yes.
But the reason why I mention that is because it's very important to take into account that time is one of the very few resources we have in life that we don't get back. You can always make more money, you can always buy more stuff, you can always go places if you need to, but the time, the clock is always ticking, the sands are always falling, and you can't put it back up. Once it's done, it's done. And for my number one pick, it really made me realize the true importance of time, despite the fact that my dad would constantly say time is money, which I would get upset at him for because he doesn't realize how important time is in that equation. Like, time should be more important than money, not equal to it. And I think that's just a kind of a worn out adage that's been thrown around in the like self-help community, whatever. But believe it or not, Alex, you and I share the same number one.
I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah, we are both very big Doug fans. It's known on this podcast, and Doug also resonates with us very much. So my number one is Doug's birthday present from season 4, episode 6. And the reason why this touches me personally is because of our dad, Rory Wilson, me and Chelsea. He used to work a lot as his own like business entrepreneur, I guess you can call him, as a builder / architect. Throughout the 90s, our family would have like our family business in the basement in their home office. And there's a lot of times where we just wouldn't see him during the day, or like he was gone on weekends because he had to go out and finish a project or make sure that his subcontractors were doing their job and not making him look bad. And there's a lot of times where he would come home really stressed out or angry, and we didn't really understand why at the time because we just wanted to see our dad. But it's very important to take into account like the sacrifices.
Time with dad was pretty precious.
Yeah. So we really tried to make it count, and I think he's definitely realized it since his Keeping Up with the Joneses days, that there's more important things than try and get to the top or show off through reputation or big houses or shiny cars or what have you. And that time is very important. So we make it a point in our family to spend time with each other, even if we don't get together often. And just seeing him constantly burnt out through so much hard work, and like going with our mother to like see his projects in development, and like making lunch for him and giving him like giant thermoses full of lemonade that I made myself. It just made me realize, one day when I have children, it might end up being the same way, where I'm going to have to work a lot to provide for my family. And I just need to make those few moments that we have together where we get to like relax and have fun really count, because those memories are priceless. Just like spending your time with your dad, your mom, anyone really in your family, because we're not here forever.
Yeah, that episode, that part of the episode is relatable, because I think you remember in your childhood that the most time well spent, or what you really loved, was just quality time with your parents. So I mean, that's what I always wanted, and the fact that this episode like highlights that that emotional side is really great. So
that the particular moment that hit home with me is like when Doug's having that fantasy sequence where he's like on his lounging chair with his sunglasses and his fancy white suit, and he's like,
the boat.
Bring in the next gift. Oh, I bet it's another yacht again. And then as soon as the box opens, balloons fly out, and it's like a cardboard cutout of his dad. And when he tries to hug him, my heart just broke. I'm like, oh my goodness, I should probably call my dad after this.
You want the real thing, the real dad.
Yeah.
Yes, another speedboat. Open it. Dad! All right! Oh, Dad, Huh?
Happy birthday from all of us at Phil's Family Photo.
Yeah, so that's why it's my number one. It's personal, and just makes you
Brings
realize
up good memories. Right?
Yeah, the best things in life are free, but also that doesn't make them any less valuable just because you can't buy it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess we're ready for my number one then, right?
Yeah, bring us home.
Oh, perfect. Well, I'm going to end things on a lighter note. I think probably just my favorite thing out of all these episodes, and just Nickelodeon in general. So I did love SpongeBob, and it is one of those episodes, and it was just beginning seasons were really great. And the only thing better to me than SpongeBob was having a SpongeBob episode that's very Patrick heavy, because like he was just my favorite
Yeah, he was
Nickelodeon
very
character.
cute.
Opposite Day, the SpongeBob one. So
Mhm. Could you describe that to us, what you saw, birthday
just
related?
oh yeah, no. So it started out like Squidward's birthday, so it was brief in that theme, but it was just funny. They Patrick and SpongeBob woke up with Squidward like that day and just kind of popped out of his bed with him and started dancing. It was just really funny how they were pretending it was his birthday. I don't think it really was, but anyways, that's how it spiraled into Opposite Day. And I guess the realtor was going to come over and quote him out a price, and then he just figured out an idea to make everything opposite. So SpongeBob and Patrick wouldn't be annoying like they normally are, but it definitely backfired. So that was the whole
Yeah.
episode.
That's a great pick, Chels. Do you want to
Yeah.
do the whole quote with me? Alex, plug your ears
No,
if you
I'm
need
good.
to.
You're good.
Okay,
No,
ready,
yeah.
Chels? Happy birthday,
you
happy
go.
birthday cake. Happy birthday, pin the tail of the seahorse. Happy birthday,
I know, we gotta
happy
play
birthday,
that right
Squidward.
now.
Woo!
Now we have to
Oh
play it and
yeah, all
watch
right.
it.
You're older. It's not my birthday.
Yeah, you sound exactly like him.
Sorry. Yeah, that gets me every time.
so
Every
funny.
opportunity
Oh my
I
gosh.
like send people birthday gifts, I send them something related to Opposite Day because I love it so
Yeah.
much.
I didn't know that was the episode that they did that in, but
Yep.
I just didn't remember. But that was
Yeah.
fun
We're
to
definitely
watch
going
it
to
back
show a
again.
clip
I
here.
still
So
like it just as I did back then. So yeah, we need some clips, lots of clips.
okay.
At some point.
We'll
Yeah,
put one
that was
right
a
here
good
of that.
Surprise! Happy birthday, Squidward! Happy birthday! Happy birthday cake! Happy birthday! Pin the tail of the seahorse! Happy birthday! Happy birthday, Squidward! Yeah! So awesome! I don't do anything I would do.
It's not my birthday!
Cool. Well, that's been a blast. Like, I'm so happy that we got to share some presents with each other and relive some memories with us. But before we wind down this episode, does anyone have any honorable or dishonorable mentions that they want to share? Maybe a gift that they got that they were a little bit disappointed in, or maybe a gift that they thought was pretty cool, but they would just re-gift it to another friend for their birthday. What do you got, guys?
But I have one honorable mention or one dishonorable mention. My honorable mention is Are You Afraid of the Dark? Season 3, Episode 12, The Tale of the Crimson Clown.
Yep.
The only reason that the only reason it's an honorable mention is because it's only mentioned that there is a birthday, and it's their mom's birthday, and they were going to look for a birthday present. And then done. Birthday is over with. Now we get the Crimson Clown, and it's terrorizing the little ass cart, and it just goes on
Scary
from
birthday.
there. But but that's it. It's a good episode, but a little mention of a birthday.
Can't have a birthday without clowns.
No, yeah. There's the theme right there. Scary clown.
Yeah. I have a couple because I tend to go overboard in this category, so bear with me. So I have another one from Are You Afraid of the Dark, believe it or not. This, even though it's from season 7, I'm still counting it because it's part of the Are You Afraid of the Dark umbrella, even though it came out in the year 2000. But this is The Tale of the Night Nurse, and is actually the last episode of that original series revival run, season 7, episode 13. And the reason why I like this one is because, when I used to watch these shows with my sister and my brother growing up, especially, reruns, a lot of them felt kind of same to me. They didn't really stick out too much, especially if we got used to them, like Frozen or Lonely Ghost. But when I saw this one, it really struck me as a cut above the rest in terms of like the revival season episodes. Not just because it has a birthday theme tie-in, but because they have a very unnerving way that they present the villain that actually turns out to be a misunderstanding. I'm not going to go too much into detail there. You should just watch the episode for yourself. but I definitely like the approach that they took with like the home setting and kind of seeing a birthday from the past that one of the main characters in the present is reliving to kind of solve this mystery that's tied to the ghost of this villain that's haunting them in the attic. So that's why I recommend it, and I think it still holds up with rewatches too, even if a lot of people choose to poo-poo the revival seasons without even seeing a single episode.
Poo-poo.
Yeah.
Yes.
And my second honorable mention, I mentioned it before. It's technically my second number one, but I didn't want to cheat. So it's My Birthday Due, yeah, from season 1, episode 8 of Space Cases. Reasons I've mentioned before that I piggyback with Alex's explanation. I really love the sentimentality of it and trying to find like your sense of belonging with the other cadets on the Krista. So it's also worth checking out, and really makes you think twice about what's important in life and also family. And then my third honorable mention, just to be really quick with this, that I just thought of, is the laughing from Dexter's Lab from season 2. Forgot the episode number. There's like 60 episodes in season 2, so I'm not going to look it up. But Alex can do that. Essentially what happens is Dee Dee, Dexter's sister, has a birthday. Oh, season
2, episode 3.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that. I thought it was later in the season because I used to record those like nonstop. But anyways, Dee Dee has a birthday. It's Dexter's sister. She's really surprised. She's like super ecstatic. And there's a clown there, I get, of course. And there are many things that stand out to me about this, not only being animation because it's from Dexter's Lab, because I love Dexter's Lab, but also the joke, why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. And they just repeat that ad nauseum through the episode. And somehow Dexter's interaction with the clown, I think he got bit by him because he's wearing dentures for whatever reason. He doesn't even seem that old, the clown. But he like got cursed by the clown, and he ended up turning into a were-clown at night, just kind of terrorizing the town with a bunch of pranks and jokes. And it's up to Dee Dee to stop him by turning into a mime. So it's like a clown mime face-off, which I found interesting. But anyways, I just want to mention that one because I really enjoyed the birthday party segment from it.
Good. Like those honorable mentions.
Yeah. Chelsea, do you have an honorable mention?
No, I just kind of made the top 5 with my favorite rankings, but yeah.
What about that My Brother
guys.
and Me one you were telling me about a few hours earlier? The dance
I think
one?
it was that one. I just, didn't really watch much of the ones I knew I wouldn't like,
So My Brother and Me is your dishonorable mention dance because you didn't like their dancing.
They're just more. Yeah, no, I got, Fresh Prince vibes. I've seen that. I like it, but I'd much rather watch the other
Yeah,
ones. They were more enjoyable for me growing up. I just gravitated more towards certain ones that I could relate more to. I like what I can relate to.
Alex, do you have a dishonorable mention?
I do have a dishonorable mention.
Let's hear it.
And it is Secret World of Alex Mack, season 4, episode 18, 24 hours. So the reason it's a dishonorable discharge, or a dishonorable discharge, yeah, because I'm kicking it out of the service. The reason
the Nicktoons Army.
The reason it's a dishonorable mention is because of the very tail end of the episode. But I remember watching the whole series and loving the whole series. I remember watching it as a kid and enjoying it, watching it as an adult and enjoying it. But I completely missed this episode, and it's right before the series finale, because the series finale was a 2-parter. So this was the episode right before that, and the whole episode, it plays out like the trope that Hey Dude was doing, where it's her birthday and everyone knows it, but everyone's keeping it a secret and acting like, oh, I don't know. But they never said that. It was coming from her perspective of just everything going wrong, and it's everyone. It's not just hey, it's my birthday and nobody's saying anything, but it's let's make your life a living hell for 24 hours, and then the big reveal. And it starts off with just her getting detention. Well, mom and dad having a weird conversation, and then they leave. And she's like, what was that all about? And then she gets detention, and for no reason. I mean, it was just the principal was talking and said, hey, you need to go to detention. What for? for loitering after the bell. The bell hasn't rung yet. Bring! Whoop. Detention. And just it escalates to the point where the end of the episode, she is being escorted, blindfolded, handcuffed from the police, and she has no idea what's going on, and she's going down the hallway of a school, but she doesn't know that's what that is now, because they've blocked out it's like black trash bags all the way down the hallway. She has no idea where she's at, and she's reached a fever pitch of just frustration. And then she steps outside, she screams, "I want to talk to my parents now," screams. They open the door, and like the whole town is out there, balloons and parties, and everyone's cheering and yells "surprise!" And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I remember enjoying the episode, and then I watched it again for this episode, because I was like, I really liked this episode. I want to get this in my top 5. And then I get to this part, and then no one ever said happy birthday. Everyone just said surprise. For what reason? It's not even her. There's no mention of a birthday. She wins. And then the dad comes over, George, and comes over and says, "Hey, there's a big drawing that the town has every year, and I put everybody's name in the drawing, and you won." What I win? A car.
What?
This isn't a birthday episode. Damn it, Dishonorable.
Yeah. That
it's a good thing we're not reviewing that, because I give it a splat-tastrophe on that premise alone. Like, mandatory detention for being set up to get detention? What the hell?
Yeah.
Like, screw you, principal of Paradise Valley High. At least Mr. Littman from Welcome Freshman's a better principal.
Like the whole town was in on it. It's like, man, how you guys are doucheholes.
Yeah, Alex Mack is very hit and miss for me due to the writing largely, but that's an interesting pick, Alex. I didn't even think to look there.
And that was his pure memory. I was like, oh, I remember this. I'm going to put this in my... It's not birthday. Crap.
Yeah.
How dare you trick me? I felt like Alex Mack.
Right.
Being led along with a nasty surprise at the end.
Well, I hate to break this to you, Chelsea, but my dishonorable mention is actually Squeaky Boots by SpongeBob, season 1, episode 8. And the only reason why is because there's too much squeaky going on. That's it.
Definitely an annoying episode. It'll get to me for sure, but you think it's funny when you're little. You like repetitive things. So.
Yeah, I mean, I like the part where he's like going up and down with the squeaky boots, like, and then Squidward's like going up and down and his nose is flapping, but that's about it. Once we get to Mr. Krabs, like, shutting his squeaky porthole door and the squeaky boots showing up, I'm like, okay, get me out of here. Let's go to the next SpongeBob.
But it was so funny at the end, because then like Mr. Krabs goes in Krusty Krab and boils
and shrinks him and eats them.
Like big tiny, and then he eats them, and then we're like, what? Why'd you just eat the leather boots? And then he's hiccuping squeaks later when he's driving. So
yeah, too much squeaking, man. I mean, it's just like funny. When SpongeBob's rubbing the pickles together in the Pickles episode, or there's like some episode where someone's trapped and he's just listening to pickles rubbing, and it's like the bad kind of annoying for me. There's good annoying, and then there's bad annoying on that show, and it kind of sinks down to that.
Where
but
you
I do
turn
like
it off after that.
yeah. But I do like Pearl's birthday party, so it's not total loss, just a little too much squeakiness.
It was cute in the beginning, and then the episode kind of shifted gears, so it went more in that direction than birthday where it started. But yeah, it was all good. It was funny. So
yeah, cool. Well, that'll do it for our top 5 birthday episodes on Splat Attack. It's pretty interesting to see how this top 5 list not unraveled. It's pretty interesting to see how this top 5 list unrolled.
Unwrapped?
Unwrapped. Yeah, there we go. We're talking about presents.
Unwrapped. There we go. Yeah.
Hosted by Mark Summers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Chelsea, for joining us today. It was a true blast to just get with a family member, have Alex here, talk about some fun birthday memories, and hopefully I'll get something
for having
me.
Thank you for being
thank
here.
you guys for having me. It was really great, and definitely brought up some fun memories for sure of those good shows and all birthday themes. So I love it.
Yeah,
it's a great episode.
Can't go wrong here. Maybe we'll have to do a sequel for when it's Alex's birthday. try and fit
Yeah,
one
right?
into our schedule.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's in
My
October.
birthday.
We'll be Halloween heavy by then.
Yeah, maybe we'll
Maybe
figure
next
something
year.
out for
Yes,
Patreon
love
or
Halloween.
mini-sode.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Awesome, guys. Thank you
Well,
so much. It was great.
Don't go yet, Chelsea. I gotta do a proper
Oh.
closing.
Yeah, okay.
So before we wrap this birthday up and blow out the candles and head on home after eating too much birthday cake, Slimesters and Gackoids, let us know, what was your favorite birthday memory that you would like to share with us? You know, if any come to mind, email us at splatattack2021@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram at splatattackpodcast. Or heck, you know, even write a comment on our Patreon page. We love hearing from our audience, whoever way possible. So, you know, connect with us, share some birthday memories. We love to hear all about being, you know, the birthday boy, girl, whatever in the 90s and anything you have to share there.
How did you know I was a birthday boy, girl?
Just a lucky guess. Well, I have a boy and a girl here. It's just what came to mind.
Everyone.
So, if any
sequel to Cat Dog.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
You don't like mentioning SpongeBob. I don't like mentioning Cat Dog. So
Yeah.
it might be a while before that shows up on the podcast. But anyways,
Yeah.
we've got to head out. And we'll share that, any responses we get for a future Mona's Mailbag segment. And for all of our patrons, thank you so much for making this episode happen. You know, just without you, we can't keep this going. And it's a real treat to be able to like break away from our main schedule and just do these fun little bonus episodes for you exclusively. So if you enjoy this, definitely let other people know so that they can get on board the Patreon bandwagon and help us come up with some more great ideas for future episodes. Alex, do you have anything else you want to share?
No, just thank you for all of you patrons who are following us. I'm going to shatter all of this. And thank you also, Chelsea, for joining us. It was a real blast getting to meet you. And please continue to spread the word. Keep spreading that herpes out there. Like as many people as possible.
Hand out some flyers instead. Like tell people who have nothing to better do on Facebook to go to Splat Attack because we're trying our darndest.
Make postcards with my nipple tassels.
No. Please no.
Perfect. No, it's great. Definitely.
All right. Well, before this
Super,
episode
thank
gets
you
out
for
of
having
hand
me.
and my birthday cake goes up in
Gets
flames.
out of hand.
Yeah.
See y'all next time on Patreon as we put away our party hats, pop all of our balloons, and play with our presents to prepare for one gnarly ride down the sewers with Ickis and Crumb in our episode review of Real Monsters, The Great Wave. I'm really looking forward to this one because it's our first Patreon episode review and also because I'm a big fan of the show. Do you remember Real Monsters at all?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We had a video game of that, so it was fun memories for sure.
Definitely. We also cover that in episode 21, playing through 90s Nick video games. So what we're trying to say is go watch that episode.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah. But without further ado, I think this party is over. Alex, will you please drain the slime tank for me, please? I need a little help
Been a great
dislodging.
birthday.
Yeah. I need a little help dislodging Tommy's present out of the cake.
Hey, Cook Captain. Why don't you just use the remote control and back it out?
Yeah, that might be a good idea. Let me go ask Stu for some double D, double A batteries, whatever it takes. All right, guys. Splat you later.
Good, guys. Bye.
Reprise the theme song and roll the credits.
Hard to believe, folks, but it's time to say goodbye.
Nighty-night.
Hey, check us out next time for more adventure and another great legend of the Hidden Temple.
What'll we do till then?
Chill for a couple. We'll be back. You're on, Nick.
And it was time for the superhero to move on. I declare this meeting of the Midnight Society closed.
Bye-bye.
Party's ruined, my perfect carrot cake is destroyed, and the puppet show is a total disaster.
Actually, I thought it was a very spirited performance. Oh, just kidding.
Hey, Slimesters and Gackoids. This is Brett just chiming in here for a quick message to my girlfriend Monica, who also has a birthday this month. So I didn't get the chance to mention it during our main recording, But I just want to let you know, Monica, happy birthday, and thank you for being a special part of my life. You are truly one of the greatest gifts I've ever had. Spot you later. I'll see you at my birthday party soon.
All day today, celebrate with Stimpy, Clarissa, Tommy, Ickes, and more during Nickelodeon's Big Birthday Marathon. It's a whole day featuring the first ever episodes of your favorite Nick shows. And after the birthday marathon, tune into Snick for Nickelodeon's Big Birthday Bash.